Good afternoon to all dignitaries, guests, and delegates. I, Deepika, extend a very warm welcome on the behalf of the I.T.S School of Management, who has clubbed all of us for the international webinar on HR scorecard and in strategic application. Ahlan wa sahlan, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Indranil Bose, Sir, Dean of School of Business, University of Bolton, Academic Center, Ras Al Khaimah, UAE. Also welcoming PGP Chairperson, Dr. Anusha Agrawal, ma'am, and Professor Dr. Vivek Pachori, sir. It's indeed pleasure greeting everyone present here. I'm ecstatic to have the opportunity to introduce our today guest speaker, Mr. Indranil Bose, sir. Sir is the fellow of prestigious Higher Education Academic UK and has worked in variety of senior academic and leadership capacity, including Dean with the School of Business with University of Bolton, UK at the International Academic Centre based in Ras Al Khaimah, UAE. He has also made a big contribution in the UAE through various supported projects. He has participated in several FTPs and professional development programs offered by prestigious institutions, university and awarding bodies, such as University of Bolton, UK, University of London, Northwood University, USA, IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Calcutta, Kozhikode, and many more. He has been confirmed with several national and international awards, such as Star Assessor Award by the Award for Training and Higher Education Foundation in year 2019, Devang Mehta Best Professor Award in General Management in India 2012, Best Professor Award by the I.T.S Dehradun under the ICFI University, and many more. I thank you for your gracious presence, sir. To begin with the session, I would request Dr. Anusha Agrawal, ma'am, to welcome our esteemed guest.
Thanks, Deepika. A very good afternoon to Mr. Indranil Bose. And I would like to welcome you on this online platform that you spare your valuable time and be here to address our students on HR scorecards and strategic application. Welcome to this session, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. I think I'm audible. Everybody can hear me. First of all, let me thank Dr. Pachori for inviting me to speak to the students of I.T.S. Ghaziabad. Also, I am thankful to all other participants here, including the professors and the faculty members. I will be speaking a little bit about the HR scorecard and how it is applied in today's corporate HR practices, mainly HR strategic practices and parts of it. So in that case, I'll be giving some examples from the corporate sectors and how they are using this from India, from abroad, from other countries also. So when I'm going to do this kind of thing, I'll be sharing 2 slides because to identify some points actually, basically, nothing else. When we talk about the HR scorecard, basically HR scorecard, I'll share the PPT with Dr. Pachori after the presentation, so the students can go through it and students can have an idea what exactly the concept is. You can also have the books on the HR scorecard, which are easily available in the market by Amazon. If you want to personally study in the field of HR and HR specialization areas. Now, when I'm talking.
Sir, yes. Sorry to disturb you. Your voice is breaking. It is not coming clear from your side.
Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to speak a little louder so that everyone can listen. Okay. First of all, then when I'm talking about the HR scorecard, why HR scorecard? Basically, what is the purpose of the concept of the HR scorecard? Why?
Sorry to interrupt you. Your voice is not clear.
Sir. I think volume is not the problem. Volume is proper. You are, but clarity, sir. Clarity somewhere is there. Should be there. Volume is loud, sir. But I think it's because of the connectivity of the wire and something else. Some clarity is not coming.
I don't know, but maybe I'm speaking from 5,000 kilometers away, maybe. So like this, maybe I don't know. Okay, but no, maybe it's fine. Well, because we have the 5G connection here in UAE. So like this, I don't know.
Maybe you
Okay.
should try like removing the headphone and speaking. That would be very clear, sir.
Let me try.
Yes, sir. Now it is clear, I think, sir.
Okay. Is it
So
clear?
now it is absolutely right.
Absolutely right, sir. Thank you.
Fine. Actually, I am habituated of using this headphone for taking my classes and everything. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the thing. Now, sorry for this interruption. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about the HR scorecard concept, HR scorecard is basically, we all know that HR discipline, the discipline of HR has been long, say accused of doing everything which is in a very subjective way, subjective manner. HR does not contribute to the corporate strategy. HR is not a revenue generator in the organization. HR is not playing any significant role. This kind of comments are coming for a long time, and it's true. Somehow I should say it's partially correct also. Okay, but the concept of the HR has evolved. We all know that. Since now, say I should say in 1975, 80, I should say 80, 85, 86, even 90 also, HR has become an important component of managing change or implementing change in the organizations. We all know that. If you study the concept of the strategic HRM or the strategic management also, or the change management also rather, I should say, you will see how HR plays an important role, because when you talk about the concept of the change management, basically we say there are three pillars of change management in any organization. Yes, definitely it keeps on changing from country to country, place to place, industry to industry, but basically fundamental concepts of implementing change in the organization are three. Basically we say we call three things: people, process, and the product. Basically, product means outcome. Product does not mean that only the product or something like that. Product means outcome. We call it 3 P's basically in the change management. Now, when you talk about the people here, how people can organization implement, people can make the changes or can facilitate the changes, or how the people can influence the changes in the organization. When you talk about the people, everything regarding the people contribution, people component in the organization, we take care of that. Okay, so there comes the issue of the measurement of the HR. Measurement of the HR means not only about the people deliveries, but also how different aspects of the human resource management or the people management in the organization, they can contribute towards the towards successful implementation of the changes. Whatever change is being done in the organization, okay, because every organization is going through some sort of changes. Some changes are very slow changes, some changes are very fast changes, some changes are transformational changes, some are transitional changes. I mean, different changes are happening. Okay, we know that. There are so many case studies we teach in the classes about the change management, like starting from General Electric to a lot of Indian companies also, foreign companies also, changes everywhere. Now, without a proper measurement, measurement and its application, proper benchmarking, proper goal setting, you should say in other way. Okay, you cannot say incorporate the aspect of the people in that change process. Without people, no change is possible. So the main focus always remains on, which was not thinkable in that way, in that strategic way. Definitely, it was not there. So HR scorecard, the concept is some people said is the extension of the concept of the balanced scorecard. I should say, okay, partially it is fine, but not exactly, because HR scorecard is such a huge and big discipline and big area that you cannot just discuss as a part of the balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard is definitely an important tool. You all know that too. Northern Kaplan and all these things. Okay, how do I mean in your classes the strategic management people teach all these things. Now, when you talk about the HR scorecard, this particular concept was first published by a book. The book is already available. My presentation is made from that only. Okay. That Baker, Husley and Ulrich. Okay, David Ulrich everybody knows. That is a very famous author, the scholar in the area of HR and general management. Okay, this book actually came into market in 2001. It was written, in 2000. Okay, this is considered as one of the most important books. Or the academic work in the field of the HR scorecard. In India also, we have some professors who have done much before that also, like T.V. Rao, Uday Parekh, you might have know their names. They also worked on the HR scorecard in the Indian context, specifically TV Rao and Uday Parekh. Uday Parekh has a book on the HR scorecard, which is a very famous book, which is not only popular in India but also abroad also. The cost of the book is very high in Indian rupees. I think around 12,000, 13,000 rupees like that. But it's a very phenomenal book. Okay, where he has talked about how to measure the HR parameters, how to set the benchmarking, how to make the improvements in terms of the benchmarking or attainment of the goals which have been set through the benchmarking, something like that. Okay, but the thing is this: in Tivida Uday Parekh's book, they have talked about mainly about the technical aspects of the HR scorecard, how HR scorecard can be framed, how HR scorecard can be used, but it has not linked the concept of HR scorecard to the strategic implementation of the HR strategy to the corporate strategy. Oh, that portion is not that not given, because might be this is a very significant book. Definitely, I'm telling you, because if you want to know something about the HR scorecard, even if you can become an HR scorecard auditor also, HR auditor also in the future. So you have to read all these books and you have to develop all these concepts. Even in your management projects also, you can work on the HR scorecard. You can develop the HR metrics and all those things. You can go to the companies and develop them, help them, something like that. You can do it. Okay, so this is the basic background of the very fundamental background of the HR scorecard. Now, HR scorecard is when this Baker and Huslett and the Ulrich, this particular book came into market. This is the most popular book in the market on the HR scorecard. This particular book, they actually tried to give a strategic dimension to it. Then they not only talked about, because this book is not big as the TV Rao's book. Okay, this is a book of maybe 300, 350 pages like that. But I have this book also with me. But the thing is this, this particular TV Rao's book is also, they are also having, I think, 3-4 volumes actually, you understand that. So this book actually tried to give you some idea how the HR scorecard can be used to make the HR, to contribute, to involve, to integrate the HR in the whatever strategic purpose of the organization. Okay, that's the more important thing. Now, when I'm talking about the HR scorecard, here comes the HR indicators, HR lead indicators, lag indicators, what are the parameters on which we can measure the effectiveness of the HR, how the HR scorecard can be developed, all these things are actually there. Because this is more flexible concept. Okay, not all the parameters of the HR can be applied in one organization. It's not required actually. So, like example, you are talking about a small and the medium-sized organizations. Okay, many of the companies, such companies do not have the HR department also. Okay, I mean, I should say 90% such companies not have a department also. So how they will be using the HR scorecard? You talk about the large corporations like Unilever or our India's Infosys or this kind of companies. Infosys uses the HR scorecard to a significant level. Okay, this is a very progressive company. How this particular Infosys company is using the HR scorecard in making the strategic changes in the organization. So let us understand all these concepts, because when you talk about a small company, medium-sized company, family-run business, okay, what are the aspects they may focus on the HR scorecard? Is that they may not use that HR scorecard as the HR, we are using HR scorecard. No, they may not say like this. Okay, they may not even they not know also about the HR scorecard also. Okay, like Infosys have the very strong, robust HR department, HR section, HR policy, and everything. A small, medium-sized company might not be having that kind of thing. Okay, it's very common actually. It's very usual. But how they can get the benefit from the HR scorecard to make the changes or even to run their daily business? Okay, so take one example: the cost of manpower. The cost of labor, I should say, that we use, because this kind of word is used with this kind of concept is used in the small and medium companies. Okay, when you go for the Infosys or go for the big companies, they say lofty words about the HR, like human resource and these and that. But small companies, they do not do it actually. There is the labor cost. Now, labor cost may be an important parameter of the criteria of the HR scorecard in a small company, because labor cost is more important concept to them. Now, a labor cost means maybe the company is planning, to hire some people for their, for next 6 months or 7 months or 1 year activities. Okay, so how many people they will be hiring on their regular payroll, and how many people they will be hiring through the contractors? That's a practical thing. Okay, so this might be a parameter. This might be an important component. They should understand. They should focus on that. But when you go for the concept like the companies like Infosys, their focus is completely different. They'll be saying, okay, we are planning to expand internationally. We are going to open 3 more offices, development centers centers in Europe. Okay, it's a change actually. Okay, we want to expand to some other countries where we do not exist right now, or maybe you are going for expansion in those business areas which we did not do earlier. Now there, what should be our HR policy? What should be our HR strategy? Okay, so that is an important component. They will be thinking about the HR scorecard. They will be thinking about the predictive analysis. They will be thinking about setting some benchmark for that kind of thing. Okay, they also will be thinking about the peripheral workforce, the regular workforce. They will be thinking about their the cost of investments there. Okay, whether they will be conducting the business. That is a part of their strategy. Whether they will be setting the setup, the development setup in so and so countries with the help of some local partners, or they will be doing it say in a collaborative way. I mean, they will be doing also, and some other companies from that country also will be working jointly together. They will be developing the setup also. These kind of things they will be thinking about. Like that, see, Infosys or many other Indian companies, they have now shifted from the solely ownership pattern of business operations overseas to say joint collaboration or joint partnership or joint ownership, this kind of thing, and how the HR will play a significant role there to make the project successful. So this kind of things will be there. Okay, there are so many case studies we teach in the classes, like say one company I'm telling you, like Khaimah. In fact, I might have known that thing. Khaimah is South Africa's fast low-budget airlines, like we had in India. Okay, now the Khaimah, how when they went for transformation, Khaimah was actually full-service airlines earlier. Now from there, when the Khaimah planned to, because Khaimah could not compete with the big airlines companies in South Africa, South African Airlines and other companies, so they planned to change their business model. It was a strategic change. Okay, they planned to initially they thought, okay, we'll be setting up a new business wing of the low budget airlines, and then later, I mean, within 5-6 years, Khaimah actually completely transformed from a full airlines to low budget airlines. Okay, in the process, HR played a very important role there. Okay, and how their HR policies and the strategies actually have been transformed, have been implemented, and with the help of the different HR measurements, like their the people's role and roles and responsibilities, training hour, investment in hiring the people, okay, the nature of the employment, everything, every aspect of the compensation practices, okay, the more flexible compensation they're not paying than the fixed compensation, which was earlier the more fixed compensation and flexible compensation, like that. So entire thing they are actually measuring. Okay, so these are purely about developing the HR metrics, which will help the organization to understand the main areas of the contribution, human contribution, the people contribution, or the HR contribution towards organizational sustainability, growth, and the changes. So this is the main background of the HR scorecard. Now, when you go for, I'm going to explain you a little with some certain steps and processes. You see, I'm not going to explain step by step, but because it will, you will feel not so interested about that. But when I'm talking about the HR scorecard, the Ulrich model, which he developed actually, he first, you see the point number one, the step number one, he said one thing, that is clearly define the business strategy. That's very important. Clearly define the business strategy. What is the business strategy? Business strategy comes with business strategy comes with certain kind of business orientation, business purposes, objectives, what you want to achieve, what you want to attain. But when we transcend this concept of business strategy into the functional area, or definitely to be areas on the grounds which are to be implemented, it can be considered as the innovation strategy, it can be outsourcing strategy, it can be say partnership strategy, or any kind of thing. You can come out with many other things also. Now, when we come out with the innovative strategy, or outsourcing strategy, or partnership strategy, or downsizing, upscaling strategy, whatever you are planning, okay, franchising strategy, or whatever, okay, licensing strategy, whatever you are doing. In that case, you have to understand the concept of the HR applications and the HR role in those cases. Take example, we all know that Coca-Cola, their business models, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, a lot of companies are there. You take the example of the McDonald's, you take the KFC, any of the companies, okay, they're expanding business globally by the licensing or franchising mode, basically. Okay, now what kind of role, what kind of HR scorecard, what kind of parameters and the metrics they are using to make their business sustainable? You see, I'm telling you, in the case of India, or in the case of UAE, I'm talking about, there are so many McDonald's stores here. Even you can find one McDonald's store here. Okay. Now the thing is this here. See, I'm telling you a simple example. The recent HR audit report of the McDonald's, which came in 2019, I think, that particular report has shown McDonald's has total under the McDonald's brand, approximately 20,000 people is working or are working in India. 20,000 people, McDonald's brand. Out of that, only approximately maybe 3 to 4% people are working directly under the payroll of the McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's India. You see, the remaining people are working with the franchises. But when you're talking about the franchises here, in that case, McDonald's franchisee, master franchisee, all the things, you know that you can study that thing in the business strategy of the distribution strategy, nothing like that. Okay, the point is that here, see, these large number of people, though they are not directly hired by McDonald's, but McDonald's plays a very important role through the HR metrics or HR parameters about their training, about their performance management, about their compensation practices. A lot of things are there actually. Okay, but McDonald's do not directly hire them. They are not working under the payroll of the McDonald's. But when the McDonald's want to sustain their performance, the quality of the delivery, service delivery, or whatever thing, I mean that, okay, like that. So the people play a very important, it's a service industry, you understand that? Now in that case, what are the important parameters the McDonald's will say? McDonald's may have this number of people. McDonald's will be, maybe in India, McDonald's, maybe for the last 2 years for the COVID and other things, might be this particular trend has been badly hit. But McDonald's may be planning for expansion, vast expansion. Still in the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 cities in India, McDonald's could not penetrate that well. Okay, you understand. Only you can see McDonald's are widely available, widely in the large cities across India. Okay, Tier 1 cities. Okay, but Tier 2, Tier 3, still they have the scope to enter. Now the point is that when they are going for expansion of this sort of thing, how the people play the important role. How many people will be hired directly into the McDonald's? How many people will be hired by the franchisees? What kind of training relationship will be there? Okay, how much training hour will be involved for the Tier 1 cities, Tier 2 cities, Tier 3 cities? What kind of training models will be applied? Okay, everything can be quantified and measured, and certain kind of steps, certain kind of things can be, goals can be set like that. Okay, so this is the main thing. Now, when we are talking about the second step, about who talked about the Ulrich model, that's the build a business case for the HR as a strategic asset. As I told you, HR is always a strategic asset. You know why? HR is because people say, many of the people say HR is a strategic asset. It's a waste actually. Many people say hard that earlier. HR has no future. Okay. The point is that you can surely understand the very same common thing that say HR is a big differentiator in many industries. Even in the traditional manufacturing industries, okay, like about the leadership practices, about the skilled manpower, about many other things, okay. And not only that, in many industries which are highly, I should say the rising industries or sunrise industries, what you say, usually, okay, HR cost, human resource cost is very high if you compare it within the concept of the operational cost. Like say approximately in many industries, it's 40 to 50% of the operational cost is the HR cost in many industries, like say software development industry, consulting industry, if you talk about the pharmaceutical industry, if you talk about the research-based many other industries, okay. So this is so high actually. So you have to say them at the asset. Otherwise, you cannot go for the sustainable business model like that in the future. Now, when you talk about the business of we need a business case for the strategic asset. Now, business case means what is a business case? See, I'm telling you one example might be I'll be showing you later in the presentation today's. See, there is a case study given there in my presentation. It is about, let me show you that thing. It's better. Yeah, this is the case study. The background is that the countries like Portugal, companies like say Norway, Denmark. These are the countries which are known for their shipping industry. Okay, traditionally. Okay, even England also, UK also. Now, many of these countries are fast losing their the businesses to the Asian countries, because Asia, like say Asian countries are manufacturing the ships or whatever like that at a much cheaper rate, and the lighter vessels they are making actually. Asian countries, the old big ships are no more popular. I mean, yes, definitely they're popular in many parts of the world, but the demand is more in the light ships, smaller ships, okay, yachts and other things. Okay, so those most of the things are now built in the Asian countries. China is a major manufacturer, as you know that thing. Okay, in Asia, Taiwan makes a lot of yachts actually. If you go to South Korea, they make a lot of yachts actually. These are the countries which are making the yachts. Even in the Middle East region also, the Qatar is making a lot of yachts. I mean, surprisingly, you might not know that thing. Okay, yachts and lighter ships, because Qatar is surrounded by sea and other things. I mean, this part of the world. Okay, now there are many other things. Now these countries are making the ships actually at a light, at a cheaper rate. People are buying from them. And a lot of American, European companies are now shifting their bases from Europe to Asia, like any other industry, you know that thing. Okay, now how a company, how traditional European shipbuilding company, they can sustain in that, and how that I.T.S scorecard can help them. Okay, how they can apply the I.T.S scorecard concepts, applications. Okay, I'm not telling that every company is using I.T.S scorecard, like nothing like that. I.T.S scorecard is a concept. Okay, you can use the I.T.S scorecard in the real spirit and applications. That's the main thing. Okay, now this major European shipbuilding company, they're facing the crisis. Maybe this is a 100 years old company or more than that. Okay, now how they can sustain? In that case, their strategy, their case study, that obviously there's a high innovation strategy. Because see, when you are making the small and the light vessels or the ships or the yachts or whatever like that, okay, the scope of innovation is less there actually, because they are mainly focusing on the large number of manufacturing of the products and whatever like that. They want to make it the I mean economy of scale of production, like that kind of thing. Okay, but in the case of the highly specialized ships, large ships, which are being made in the European countries like Denmark, Norway, Portugal, all these countries, okay, even in UK, okay, they are now focusing on the high innovation strategy. How you can make the changes in the design, how you can incorporate different electronic monitoring system and other things. I mean, a lot of things are being there. I'm not a technical person, so I cannot tell all these things, but innovation scope is always there in the shipping industry. Okay, now this particular innovation is the strategy. Now to make the company sustainable, to reattract the customer to them based on their niche, actually there's a high innovation, because our company manufactures the ships which have this kind of innovation, this kind of products, this kind of technology, this kind of thing, design, whatever like that. Okay, so it is very important there. Now, when you are talking about these kind of things here, now how HR plays an important role in that cases. Now here, in these particular cases, what is the individual value there? Individual value means the employees working there, engineers, technicians, managers, marketeers, whatever. I mean, the people who are working there. What kind of individual value per employee is being there or can be improved, like that thing. Okay, when you are talking about individual value, because when we are talking about the innovation, when you are talking about the sustainable improvement, qualitatively improvement, okay, like that thing, in that case, you have to think about the total overall value of the employees, I mean, overall value created by the employees, as well as the individual value per employee in the organization. Now, these big organizations which are making the ships or this kind of things, okay, they're definitely more sophisticated companies. They're not small Tom, Dick, Harry companies, okay, like that thing. They must be having the idea how, because maybe they're inviting, they're attracting the talents from abroad, they're calling the shipping engineers or technicians like that by paying the good salary and other things. They require the very experienced people, they require the leadership to market their products, to brand their identity, something like that. Okay, now in that case, how much value per employee can create to the organization, or how much value the overall employee group of the organization they can create for the organization, because this actually matters for them. Because when we are talking about the individual value, how you can measure the individual value? Individual value is actually how, as an employee of an organization, I can create value for the organization. Okay, the value means I am not going to the market and selling my product, nothing like that. That is a responsibility of the marketing team or whatever like that. But my responsibility is that, say, my productivity, my efficiency, okay, how much error, how many mistakes I am making while doing my work on that. Okay, in the case of present scenario like the automation, other things, okay, that scope is also less. Okay, how a person who is maintaining the entire system, because entire thing is now automated or whatever, like, or semi-automated, like that thing. Okay, how they are maintaining the system, how many errors, how many hours of the production is being lost or suspended because of some kind of thing like that. Okay, these are all creating the value for employees actually. Now, when you are transcending this kind of individual value to the organizations, this is a more detailed concept actually in the organizational value. Okay, so this is the way this particular company can look into. Okay, this is the area where individual say value per employee is less. We should attain this level in the future. Maybe the company is thinking, okay, we have a business in America also, a business in Europe also. But in American business, the individual value per employee is much higher. Okay, in our case is less. Okay, so where we are lacking actually, where you should improve. So they sit together, they decide, okay, this is the area. They can talk with the line management, they can talk with the technical team, they can talk with the staff management. I mean, they can even hire the external consultants there, okay, if required, and they can work on that. Definitely they can work on that. They can go for the system improvement. So here, how the people involvement in the entire process can be further improved. So like that thing. So this is the way the thing can be done. Okay, so this is entire thing is like this. Now Academy of Innovative HR, they also came out with a second model, which is I should say the more refined model over the previous model of the Woolrich. Okay, so Academy to Innovate HR is an international body, you understand that, and they mainly focus on the innovative practices and the concept of the HR, because most of the HR concepts which are very innovative, they are on pen and paper. Okay, people say how they're using this kind of thing. Okay, where we can see that involvement. Yes, you can, if you can open your eyes, you can see the how HR involvement in terms of structure, in terms of say technology, in terms of organizational structure, in terms of roles and responsibilities and leadership, whatever. I mean, in different ways, you can see like that thing. Okay, when you talk about innovative HR practices, don't think that okay, this gentleman is going to the office in the morning at 9, wearing a suit and tie and something like that, and coming back to the home and at 6 in the evening every day for last 5 years. Where is the innovation? No, you should look at the concept of innovative HR. How the person is actually performing in the organization. What are the systems change the person has interacting or encountered and in the organization. That kind of thing you have to understand. What kind of thing the way the person was performing 10 years back and how the particular person is performing now. Okay, what are the responsibilities and the roles a person used to have earlier and now. Okay, whether a person is more empowered. If you see from this particular angle, you'll be able to understand there must be some change happen somewhere, a smaller change or a bigger change, whatever like that. Okay, so you can look at the different innovative HR models which are being used across the organizations. You can read the case studies, but in that case, the HR scorecard implementation is very important. Now they have talked about one thing, that is the create a HR strategy map. This is the first concept. Now, when in the case of the HR strategy map, what is the HR strategy map? HR strategy map is basically, I'm showing you this particular concept, HR strategy map. Now, HR strategy map is basically, it is very much related with the organizational strategy map. Okay, whether your company is planning for expansion, company is planning for downsizing, company is planning for merger acquisition, companies planning for merging two existing businesses into one business. Okay, whatever. A company is planning for, say, de-hierarchying of the organization, that is the de-layering of the organization. Earlier it might have five layers in the hierarchy. Now they are planning for two layers, something like that. Okay, now in all the concepts, when the company is planning for global expansion or something like that, company might have launched some new products or technology or something like that. Okay, so there are so many situations. Backgrounds are there. Whether there is any political change or policy change which affects organizational strategy. Okay, I'll give some examples so you can understand like that. In that context, how the HR plays an important role. I'm telling you an example. I'm staying in UAE for last 9 years almost. Now see, for last 3-4 years, in the banking industry, they are going for localization. You will see localization, LOCALISATION, localization for last 3-4 years. Okay, localization was not a tendency earlier. When I came to this country, most of the banks, starting from that operational level, like the branch level to the senior management level, most of them were the expatriates. They used to come from India, Pakistan, Jordan, Egypt. I mean, European countries also. A lot of Europeans used to work here like that. Okay, even they're still working here. Okay, now for the last 3-4-5 years, 4 years might be, the government of UAE has come out with an idea of the localization. Localization is most of the positions will be filled up by the local peoples, local Emiratis. Okay, they're nationals, not by the. Now, see, the same branch I used to go earlier, I used to see all the Indian faces or the Pakistani faces. I used to speak in Hindi or something like that. Okay, Pakistanis understand Hindi very well. I mean, like almost like us. Okay, they watch Hindi movies, all these things, you know that. When I go now to the banks, I will rarely see one Indian is working there or one expat is working there. All are Emiratis. Okay, it's very difficult to communicate with them because they don't understand English that well, or they speak only Arabic and something like that. I can't speak Arabic like that. Okay, so that's a different issue. Now, this actually is affecting their customer service to a great extent, because most of their customers are basically expats. The people, definitely Emiratis are their customers, but most of the customers are their expats. They say, okay, maybe say 10% of the expats from Asia or Southeast Asia, like our side part of the world, okay, they understand Arabic, maybe 10%, 15% maybe maximum. Okay, remaining 85% don't understand Arabic. Maybe they understand Arabic little bit, but they cannot speak. Okay, so customers are getting affected. Now, when this is implemented now by the UAE government, like they initially said, okay, 40% leadership positions will be managed by the Emiratis, but actually they have transferred entire thing. Like there are many branches here, the contact points, where you will see almost 90%, 100% managers are Emiratis actually now. Okay, now the point is that when these Emiratis are hired overnight, Emiratis did not develop this is a strategic move. Remember that thing. Okay, now when the corporate strategy move, now when this thing actually happened, two important things the UAE government has done, the bank management has done, because see, bank knows that these people who are speaking only Arabic, or they can speak little, say, tuta-futa English, like that kind of thing. Okay, so like this kind of thing. This how these people will address their customers. Now they are going for large-scale automation. I mean, UAE is the country which has gone for large-scale automation in the banking industry. Okay, I mean, here in this part of the world, 97% of the banking transactions are happening through the automation. 97%, you can understand. Okay, like in India, we still go to the bank branches, talk to the people, and something like that. Even 97% of the banking activity is happening automation. So that these people now, these Emiratis are given training on automation, say bank security and other things which are not there. Okay, they are not given that much of training on the banking regulations and the laws and rules. They're doing the very petty things like in the banks. Okay, so training shift has changed. Now when they talk about the HR strategy through the I.T.S scorecard, they measure what kind of training will be given to what type of people working in the banks. How many hours of training, how many types of training, okay, at the life of the employee life cycle, what kind of training will be given in the early stage, later stage, at the different stages. Okay, so these kind of things are now actually involved. How about the companies, the banks are also thinking about what thing, okay, how much money they will be spending on the training and learning and development practices, because now when the people are joining, these Emiratis are coming straight away from their local institutions. And the universities run by the UAE governments, okay, federal government. Now, when these people are coming, they are not competent enough. When they used to hire the Indians or Pakistanis or other bankers from outside as the expatriates, these people are already experienced. Maybe an Indian is working in India for 10 years, 15 years in the banking industry. They know almost everything about banking. When they came here, they're the ready professionals. So there is a point there, intervention, HR intervention. Now these people, the Emiratis, when they are hired there, when you are hired here actually, when they join the freshers, it's the young people actually, even 27, 23, 28 years old actually, 25 years old. Okay, they just passed out from their colleges and they join their banks and not know anything about bank. Okay, maybe an initial training is given. So these aspects are considered as a part of the HR strategic map. HR scorecard, how much money will be invested on what kind of training, who will be giving the training, okay, and what kind of compensation will be paid or something like that. Even taking one example, when they're hiring the Emiratis, I mean here, okay, their salary is also higher, you know, because see, a starting salary of an Emirati in this country should not be or must not be less than 12,000 dirham. That is approximately in Indian rupees to 2,40,000 rupees minimum. So less than that, no Emirati can be paid. Okay, this is the normal rule of the UAE government. If you go to other countries of the Gulf, like that thing, there are certain skill sets definitely like this. Now, when you're talking about the Indians or Pakistanis, maybe an Indian is working there in India for many years, joining as a tailor clerk here in the bank of branches, are getting 9,000, 10,000. So cost is also important. Okay, now the bank is finding these Emiratis are not so efficient like the expatriates. So how to manage the thing? So a lot of local expatriates are being hired as the tenure track employees here, as the peripheral employees here, as a consultant here with a very higher salary. They are not hiring the expatriates like earlier. So you understand the entire scenario, how it is changing. Okay, so overall, these are the metrics, these are the key performance indicators, they're the key areas, metrics, whatever, and based on that, they are doing like this. Okay. Now, when they go for the identifying the HR deliverables, already I mentioned some of the HR deliverables, like say time to hire in days or whatever. I mean, like that. Okay. Say the total number of employees in the organization, how many of them are getting the salary is 50% flexible, 50% fixed. How many of the employees are getting salary maybe 40% fixed, 60% flexible. How many of them are getting say 60% fixed and 40% flexible. Okay. How many employees are there who are eligible for transfer or some kind of training and intervention, like that thing. I'm telling you one example here, it's a deliverables. Okay, see, in 1989, 90, when the State Bank of India and the Bank of China almost in the same time, okay, this both of the world's largest banks in terms of operational size, okay, they actually went for the computerization. You know that thing very well. Okay, now HR deliverable plays a very important role because companies like McKinsey and Deloitte, they supported these two companies. I mean, mainly State Bank of India. State Bank of India took the help from the Deloitte and the McKinsey to get to the greatest. McKinsey plays a very important role in transformation in the entire process. Okay, so how many branches, how many staffs of what kind of categories, which are the branches where from the people will be hired for the computer training, how the training will be given, what kind of training will be given, okay, whether any kind of incentive will be provided to the employees, whether the, this particular learning experience of the employees will be linked to the HR deliverables, okay. So all these kind of concepts are actually linked there, HR deliverables, okay. How much time should be spent per employees for providing training, delivery and something like that, okay. How much money will be spent for each region of each zone of the bank, okay. So all these things, how to measure, how to evaluate the effectiveness of such training, whether by after the training the employee performance has improved. So all these things are the HR deliverables actually, you understand that, okay. So these were actually completely cleared and measured through the HR scorecard. McKinsey widely use HR scorecard, okay, for them and for their consultants, for their clients also. McKinsey has around say 600 global clients across the globe. McKinsey is one of the leading companies in the world, okay. So they all have actually. Now when these kind of things actually are happening, say I have just already told, say HR scorecard, just look at the current score, future target score, like that thing, okay. In terms of say even talking about employer branding, okay, in many organizations, that's a strategic move for many other companies, okay, because if you rank well, if your branding is very well, you will be able to attract more and more employees, more and more talent easily, okay, without spending much of money and much expenditures or something like that, okay. So they also play an important role. Now you talk about the creation of the HR policies and processes and the practices. I just talked about the policy of the localization in banks in UAE. Okay, now see, this is a new change in the policy and the process and the practices. Now the policy, processes and the practices, these are the things which are now driving, I should say, the driving of the entire HR practices. HR parameters have changed. I gave you a lot of examples like peripheral employees and the employee composition is one of the very important thing. You can talk about the employee learning experience is one important thing. Employee career progression is an important thing. There are a lot of things there, okay. And apart from that, very specific things are also mentioned there, like the micro level, just like say, okay, how much training will be given to a local Emirati and how much training will be given to an expat, okay, like this. So these are very micro level things, but these are things which are actually driven by the changing HR policies and the process and the practices. So these are all integrated things, okay, like this. So you have to understand in that way. Now aligning the HR system is very important. So HR system is something, it is when we are talking about HR, all the HR activities are, cannot be implemented effectively in silo. Everything has to be done in the integrated manner. So that's why when one parameter or one metrics or one aspect of the HR which has to be measured or which has to be improved to attain certain goal, like that. Say, take example, the cost aspect of the HR. If you want to manage the cost aspect of the HR, maybe you have to retain cost is one aspect, one parameter, one important component of the HR scorecard. But when you're talking about the HR, that particular thing, when you're talking about this thing, this has to be have to manage the HR cost, or you have to make it the HR investment more productive. Okay. You have to link it with what? You have to integrate it what? You have to align it what? Like say your employee hiring practices, how much money, how much time you are requiring. We talk about the yield ratio and other things in HR. Okay. Why these are important? Because these are related to the cost aspect. So these are two important parameters of the measures. Okay. So when we're talking about that aspect, also how to integrate with the concept of the employee turnover, employee attrition rate. So these are all integrated concepts. Okay, like that thing. Even you can integrate the concept of the HR learning process also, employee engagement also. A lot of things are there. Employee engagement is a concept which is which can be measured in different ways, but not absolutely 100% correct in all the cases. But still, these are all integrated. Okay, so these are all alignments should be done like this. Now, HR efficiencies, once you develop the entire system like that, when you say, okay, the entire HR system is based on certain data and certain things which is to be achieved. Now, these are the different things which are talking about. Now here, hiring process, these are the parameters. There may be on the hiring process 10 parameters you are going to achieve through the concept of a scorecard. Okay, then talking about the cost, we can talk about the learning exercises. So learning curve, learning time, I mean investment on training and development, and blah blah blah. So many things are there. Okay, you identify the specific areas which are more relevant to your organization. It is not like that there are standard practices which has to be followed by every organization. No, nothing like that. Okay, I'll be giving some example here how some of the large corporations in the world have done it. Okay, so this is the way you are doing it. Now the concept is that, say here, I have given some case studies, small quick example here. These are the companies which have actually introduced the HR scorecard in their own way. Many of the companies, they call it ready-made, I mean say customized HR scorecard. They do it for themselves. They do not follow any book, anything like that. Whatever is required, whatever is their priority in the organization, they follow on that. Say General Electric Corporation, they GEC in 1997-2007, when the Jack Welch was there, they introduced the HR scorecard. They called it people scorecard. They did not call it HR scorecard. Okay, people scorecard later, not in 1997 exactly. 1997 is the time when the Jack Welch took over, and the transformation started in the General Electric with a lot of say resistance came from the other different quarters, but still whatever, it was very successful initiative. Now here HR alignment with the organizational structure was important, because see he delayered the organization. I mean, when he joined the organization, because he was working with the General Electric for around 15-16 years earlier, also 20-30 or more than that, but when he joined as a CEO of the company, it was still a traditional company. You understand the story of the, you read a book of the Jack Welch written by him, that's called Straight from the Gut. Read that book. We'll be having the story of the entire transformation of General Electric, how he did actually. Okay, he's still considered as one of the most successful CEO or the manager in the corporate world in the world. Okay, like that. So he made a lot of delayering, and from the 7 layers to the organization, he made it only say 3-4 layers on an average, and he made the entire thing. And in that context, he aligned the HR practices. He empowered the employees when he introduced the concept of the Six Sigma training and other training for the employees. Almost 80% of the employees were empowered by different kind of training, like something like that. So it was actually a part of the entire scorecard practices. It was a strategic move, understand. Now, Saudi Aramco, world's largest oil producing company, Saudi Aramco. Okay, they have also business in India also with the Reliance presently. Okay, now Saudi Aramco, they aligned the HR practical technology transformation, because Saudi Aramco, although it's a very large company, it's a very rich company, they have 2030, they have made it that say 100% of the Saudi Aramco's certain operations will be technology enabled. So for that, it is a strategic move actually. Presently, they have created an entire strategic map. So by what year, but by what time, how many, what kind of performances, what kind of activities, what kind of operations will be transforming into the complete computerization or automation, something like that. Okay, oil industry, steel line industry, which is technology starving industry. I'm telling you, the people know oil industry. I mean, it's a big industry. How wide they know? Because traditionally, it's a traditional industry. It's nothing like a software industry. From the day one, they are going for the technology transformation. So these kind of companies that from 2004, 2017, they came out with the tech document. It is called the HR alignment of the technology transformation document, where they use the HR scorecard in a different way. HR scorecard means different areas of HR, say target goals, achievements, they have made it. Okay, so here they focused on the individual employee value creation through empowerment, planning and development, because they are changing their way of operation. They are changing their structure of operation. Okay, they are changing the expectations from the employees. in terms of performance deliveries. So to make it possible, they're doing it actually, and they have made it something like that. The overall change, internal change is happening, and Saudi Aramco's when they're focusing, their main focus on the minimum wastage and other things like that. Okay, maximum productivity. Because you see the price of oil is falling also. Okay, so Saudi Aramco is, I think 2018 or 17, they faced a huge loss. Some billions of dollars are lost. Okay, so they have revived from that, recovered from that, but still they're trying to make it through innovation, other things. Okay, like that thing. GT Finance, it's a US-based company now, and they have the business in UK also. Now, HR alignment, they're also looking for the technology transformation through the changing workforce modeling. So this company is now more focusing from the traditional way of all say regular employees to the more peripheral orientation. Peripheralism is basically where you are hiring the more part-time employees or say contractual employees or this kind of employees, and for that you have the different challenges to engage them. For them, you have the different practices of salary, minimum wage, minimum training, and other things like that. So this is the thing, and in every cases, I mean their employee turnover. I mean, how can measure the employee turnover, employee engagement? So definitely the people who are regular employees, people who are non-regular employees, they have a clear differences in their engagement and orientations. So how you can measure them? So based on that, you can take the actions like this. Okay, so this is the part of FHEA Scorecard clearly. So they also came out with the concept in 1999, and basically with a particular document, and this has been done actually. Okay. Now this FHEA Scorecard helps organization in the contemporary world. I have given you so many examples of the corporate world. So here FHEA Scorecards basically help the organization. If you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, so FHEA Scorecard actually helps you to, it's actually some kind of dashboard you can see in front of you. This is the thing. This is actually clearly measurable. It is revolutionized the way the HR is looked into. Okay, frankly speaking, because earlier in everything in HR, it was purely say subjective, nothing objective. Now it is purely objective. All the data, statistics, information which you require for your company. Maybe not all the companies can manage it by themselves, but a lot of companies, big companies, are managing by themselves. We have the ERP platforms earlier. Now there are so many softwares are there. They have the regular reporting system and other things are there. Earlier, it was not there. Now the small companies are taking the help of the consulting firms also, who develop some kind of scorecard of the balance sheet. Balance sheet, we also say it the other way. Okay, in different parameters, different ways. Okay, and certain areas. I'm not telling that every company, even the large companies, corporations, will be using the FHEA Scorecard in all the aspects of HR. No, it's not possible, because HR is a huge area of activities and very complicated one. Okay, maybe some company plans to implement FHEA Scorecard on certain areas, maybe 4 areas or 3 areas of HR, which is their priority. Some of the companies may be focusing on another 4 or 3 areas like that. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, so this is the entire thing. I mean, it actually helps you to understand, to track, and to control, to take the strategic initiative in terms of the HR policy, HR strategy, or HR moves. Okay, and you can make the changes in the organization. Many companies have taken the sufficient benefits in India. Larsen & Toubro has initiated that. TCS has initiated that. Okay, so a lot of companies have initiated that. Bose has initiated that. Okay, a lot of companies have done it. Okay, right. Traditional companies. Okay, Kirloskar has done it in certain operations. HR Scorecard, they have used it. Okay, so there are a lot of things actually there. India has a progressive companies. Definitely, not all the companies are small and medium, and they don't have the idea. So like definitely information technology companies are the front runners, because they are very progressive companies, well managed, professionally managed by top-notch educated people. They have the international competition, so they have to do it. Okay, so you understand all these things. So FHEA Scorecard is basically a concept. It is nothing like becoming like a book and checking it, okay, nothing like that. You can develop your own parameters, you can develop your own metrics based on the areas you require to intervene to make certain policies and strategies for the organizational sustainability or organizational strategy. So this is the way you can implement it. Okay, so that's very important thing. So this is my small and quick presentation. Hopefully you have liked it.